तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः. Let us resume our discussion on Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual discourses with his intimate devotees at Star Theatre in North Kolkata on Sunday, the 14th of December, 1884. When he went there to witness the drama on Prahlada, the king of devotees, despite being the son of a demon. Naturally, the topic of discussion was on bhakti, and Sri Ramakrishna said that in the Kali Yuga, Naradiya bhakti is the way in this present age. And he narrated that bhakti has a graded course of ascent. It starts with an acquaintance, then gets into intimacy, nishtha. Nishtha evolves into bhakti, devotion. And devotion culminates into bhava, make a relation. Bhava have mainly 5 varieties: Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya and Madhur. We have been discussing the third bhava, Sakhya bhava. In Sakhya bhava, we have seen in detail how the Sakhya bhava, the relation of friendship, was demonstrated by Sri Krishna in his incarnation of God, and his relation with Arjuna, Draupadi, Vidura Patni, Akrura and others, and also Sudama, with which we concluded last week's talk. And with this, it was said that though the relation between Radha and Krishna is an epitome of Madhura Bhava, but the beginning, the Radha was considered as a Sakhi. Now the Sakhi Bhav also, with Sakhya Bhav, has evolved. That also we mentioned that in the North India there is a Vaishnava Bhakti Sampradaya, which was founded by Hita Harivansa. And when he consecrated an image of Krishna called Radha Vallavi, the Radha Vallabha, and the sect is Radha Vallavi. And the Sampradaya was started in 1535, very old. And they develop an attitude of Sakhya Bhava. When the devotee assumes the role of a female attendant or girlfriend of Radhika, the Sakhi Bhav is a peculiar offshoot of Sakhya Bhav. Though it was said that Sakhya Bhava can be between a male and a female person, like Draupadi had a Sakhya Bhav with Krishna, being a female person, whereas Sudama was his boyfriend. friend since the time of Guru Sandipanis, which Sri Krishna remembered throughout his life and demonstrated the pinnacle of Sakhya Bhava, how much love he had with his friend. It is said that God wants to have this relation of friendship. It is most favorite for him. After a long time, when he met Sudama, which we discussed at length, he was pained to see the poor condition of his feet, the feet of his friend, who travelled barefoot such a long distance up to Dwarka from the eastern part of the country to the western part. And he washed the feet of his friend, not with water, but the tears of his eyes. This is the apex of Sakhya Bhava. Now, not only as an incarnation of God as Sri Krishna, he demonstrated the Sakhya Bhava in his earlier incarnation as Sri Ramachandra also. Now, when we discuss these episodes, then the idea of Sakhya Bhava becomes clear to your mind. What God actually expects from the devotee, how he reacts with his friends and his Leela. So, in the incarnation of God as Ramachandra, we have primarily two characters. One is Sugriva, another is Kevat, who demonstrated what the ideal friendship is like. Now we know the background, how Sugriva met Rama and Lakshmana. When Sita was lost in their exile, then they were in search, Rama and Lakshmana was in search of Sita, and they came near the Pampa lake, and there they happened to meet Sugriva near the Rishamukh Parbat. It's a very interesting story, though it is presented allegorically, but it gives the devotees, us, a clue how to establish the friendship relation with God. Now this story is narrated in the 5th Sarga of Kishkinda Kandya of Valmiki Ramayana. Now they were connected. The Sugriva and Ramachandra were connected with each other, not directly, through Hanuman. This is important. We cannot make a direct connection with God. Here, as has been explained, the connection was done by Hanuman, who is considered as the Guru. So, what is the role of a Guru? Sri Ramakrishna says, Guru is the Ghatak, matchmaker. Between a bride and a bridegroom, this person who connects the two are called a matchmaker. शादी का पहले जो करते हैं, तो ये वैसी भगवान के साथ भक्तों का जो मिलन, इस कनेक्शन is done by Guru. As Tulasidas praises the Guru at the first. Shri Guru Charano Saroja Raja Nijamunam Khuru Sudhari. Baranau Raghuvar Vimalaja Shuddho Daki Falachari. The Guru is responsible for bringing God in our precinct. So this story has been said in the Valmiki Ramayana thus. Hanuman first then comes and says in the Ramayana 4, 5, 7, Kishkinda Kanda, 5th Sarga and 7th verse of Valmiki. Bhavata Sakha Kamotau Bharataru Rama Lakshmanau Parati Griharcha Svemo Pujanyotam Bhava Avo. Hanuman says to Sugriv, both the brothers Rama and Lakshmana seek friendship with you. As both of them are worthiest of worship, welcome them with due reverence. This is the beginning of Sakhya Bhava. We cannot make friends with anyone and everyone. First, we have to analyze the quality of the person with whom we should make friendship. So they are being introduced, Rama and Lakshmana, as they are the worthiest of worship. They are the lovable, covetable friends. And they have come forward to seek friendship. This is also a second important point. It's not that we go to God to make friends. God comes to us to make friendship with us. It is His desire. Here also, that Sugriv did not invite them. Bhagavan himself appeared at the bottom of Vishamukh Parvat to make friendship with him. And the reason also we'll tell later. It's very interesting how God establishes the relation with the devotees. It is He who is establishing. We always think that we need God, but we forget the point that God requires us. It's a song in Bengali, in Rabindra Sangeet by Rabindranath Thakur. তাই তোমার আনন্দ আমার পর প্রভু তাই এসেছ নিচে আমায় নইলে ত্রিভুবনেশ্বর তোমার প্রেম হতো যে মিছে. God is love personified. So He comes down. তাই এসেছ নিচে, you have come down from your position. He has avataran kiya hai. He has come down to our level. He has come down at the bottom of the Shamukh mountain. Why? Because you have love and you want a lover. Friendship cannot be done with one person. God wants to make friendship with the devotee because that is very favorite for Him. He loves it. He enjoys it. Now, naturally, Sugriva feels elated. So he says, O Lord, that you are eager to have friendship with me, who is a monkey, is a great honor and is extremely beneficial to me. This we have to understand. Sugriva was portrayed as a monkey, Itarajeev, inferior being than human beings. But God even comes down to anyone and everyone who is pure in heart. It is those who are selected by God, they are indeed fortunate. They are extremely fortunate beings because God has selected them as His friend. So immediately Sugriva accepts his friendship. And what is the consequence? He says, Rochate jadiva sakhyam bahur esha parasaditaha grihatam panina panir marjada badhyatam dharuva. If you are desirous of my friendship, here is my arm, here is my palm, stretched on to you with due regard. Establish our bond firmly, holding my palm in yours. Haath mila lo. So what was reaction of God? Ramachandra? Rama became very happy to hear Sugriva's warm words and passed his hand with his. Delighted, he went close to Sugriva and hugged him tightly and affectionately. That was Ramachandra's reaction. God calls us, God comes to us, but we have to respond. When we stretch our arms, then God takes on to us and holds us tightly in His hug. And then it was formalized. This relation has to be formalized. There is an anushthan by which God gets connected with us. So here what happened? Tatogni dipyamanam tau chakratushcha paridakshinam sugrivu ragavasha chaiva vayasyatvam upagato. They both circumambulated the blazing fire and solemnized their friendship. So this friendship has to be, the relation, this rishta has to be made formal. We also get formally initiated with God through an anushthan. There is a formal connection with God. The same thing happened with Sugriva and Ramachandra. Now, but before this relation happened, Sugriva hesitated. So this relation does not come all on a sudden, because we have certain premonitions. We do not accept God all on a sudden. The God is always willing. The same thing happened here. Sugriva hesitated, and it is unbelievable that anyone would reject Lord's friendship, because he was wondering that Rama is not an ordinary person. How can a mere monkey establish a friendship with God? But the interesting thing is this: God persists. Though he primarily rejects, but God did not go away. He persists and he says that he would very much like to have the friendship. So this is yet another instance of Rama's approachability. We feel that God is far away from us, just the reverse. We turn our face otherwise. God is ever ready, willing to have closer relation with us. But it is we who hesitate, who go far away. Nevertheless, God stands by. Normal relation, what happens? If you do not respond, the other person goes away. It's not like that here. God stands by, because we may not require Him. He requires us. God will not leave us. As has been said in that song, Amai noile Tribhuvaneshwar. He requires me and me alone. He has many, but He wants me also. He will not go away. He will wait for eternity till we come to Him, and we will have to come to Him by the cord of His love. He wins us over this weapon of love. As Swami Vivekananda says, Sri Ramakrishna was LOVE personified. Then Sugriva understood that this friendship will be mutually beneficial, and they entered into the friendship. Now we have to understand that though Ramachandra came forward to have friendship with Sugriva, and apparently with some motive behind, that he'll be able to regain Sita with his help. That is the normal understanding. But what is the secret behind it? You have to understand. Why Ramachandra? Because if we understand this story, it will be clear in our mind how to make approach to God. Now, what is the secret behind it? Now, it has been said Lord Ramachandra's reputation for having killed Ravana with showers of arrows at the request of the demigods, and for having built a bridge over the ocean, does not constitute the factual glory of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose spiritual body is always engaged in various pastimes. Lord Ramachandra has no equal or superior, and therefore he had no need to take help from monkeys to gain victory over Ravana. This we have to understand. He is Lord Himself, His supreme power. He does not require any help of any men or monkeys to kill Ravana and regain Sita. Now, why is He doing that? His answer is given in Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6.8. It's very important in this context. What is said in the Upanishad? Na tasya karyam karanam cha vidyate, na tat samaschabhya dhikascha drishyate, na sandrishe tishtati rupamasya, na chakshusha pashyati kaschainainam. The Supreme Lord has nothing to do, and no one is found to be equal to or greater than Him. For everything is done naturally and systematically by His multifarious energies. By a look, by a touch, by a glance, by a move, He can do anything. The Lord has nothing to do, na tasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. Whatever He does, it is His pastime, Leela. It's told in the Shvetashwara Upanishad, the Lord has no duty to perform to oblige anyone. Na tasya karyam vidyate. Nevertheless, He appears to act to protect His devotees or kill His enemies. What is the Leela? It's a pastime, play. He appears to make friendship and to kill His enemies. No one can be Lord's enemy, since who could be more powerful than the Lord? Everything belongs under His creation. How can there be an enemy? But He makes a play, a drama. There is actually no question of anyone's being His enemy, but when the Lord wants to take pleasure in pastimes, He makes someone His enemy. He comes down to this material world and acts like a human being. He acts like a human being. In the commentary of the Bhagavad Gita, Shankaracharya writes in the opening, his commentary starts from the 11th verse of the 2nd chapter. And there in introduction he says that such a Bhagavan, that Supreme Lord, Jatavaniva, Dehavaniva, He appears as assuming a body, He appears to be have born. It's a Leela. We know that when there is a big mirth in the balloon mart on the occasion of the birth anniversary of Sri Ramakrishna, then Mahapurush Maharaj, the second president of the order, Swami Shivanandaji, was staying at that time in Balloon Mart, and he was in a different mood. Seeing so much of exuberance, he asked his disciples, "What is going on here today?" They said, "Maharaj, today is the Janmotsav of Sri Ramakrishna." He says, "How can there be a birth anniversary of a person who is never born? যার জন্মই হলো না তার জন্মোৎসব কি করে হবে?" So this is only His Leela. God cannot be born. God is ever existing. But for the benefit of the devotees, so that they can enjoy the company of God, He assumes a human form. And He plays. Here also, He created in that drama, someone is enemy, someone is friend, and showing His wonderful, glorious activities to please the devotees. This भक्तगण को आनंद प्रदान करने के लिए भगवान लीला आरोप करते हैं. His devotees always want to see the Lord victorious in varied activities, and therefore, to please Himself and them, the Lord sometimes agrees to act as a human being and perform wonderful, uncommon pastimes for the satisfaction of the devotees. This is the secret. Now, if God makes anyone His friend, it is the greatest honor and the highest achievement for the jiva. This you have to understand. If somehow God gives us that wonderful attitude to become friend with God, that is the greatest honor and fortune bestowed on us. Although Sugriva had no such quality that he could be eligible to become the friend of Sri Rama and become equal in relation. They became equal. Tumama priya bharate sam bhai. Here also for Sugriv he said later, like he said to Hanuman. Now the secret, what is the secret behind, how did Sugriva achieve this wonderful fortune? Sugriva was always lying in the shelter of Sri Hanuman. गुरु चरण में शरणागत होना जरूरी है. This Guru will take us to the ultimate reality. Because Hanumanji said to Sugriva, Bhavata Sakya Kamo to Bhataru Rama Lakshmano Pragriya cha Achayasya Eto Pujanayatamo Avo. After introducing everything about Sri Rama Tattva, Hanuman said, these two brothers, Rama and Lakshmana, are interested to make friendship with you. Thus you receive these two and worship them, for they are the most venerable, most respectable, most lovable ones. And so Hanuman Das is the Guru of Sugriva and best friend of Sugriva. Sri Ramakrishna says, Guru Setho, हाथ पकड़ के ले जाते हैं, साथी है. So Guru is the best friend. You have to understand. Guru is the best friend for a devotee, and he takes the devotee by hand until the devotee reaches God. So after the devotee reaches God, what happens with the Guru? He disappears, not in air, he merges in God. Then the devotee realizes that God appeared to him in the form of his Guru, his or her Guru. That was his job, to take the devotee to the company of God and then reveals his own nature. He gets merged with God. Then the devotee realizes that it was none other than God who appears so far with him in the form of the Guru. God took this trouble of sending a person to bring the devotee close to him. Now, when a jiva lives always in the shelter of Gurudev, Bhagavan himself comes and accepts the jiva as his friend forever. This is the story. Now, in this episode, how do we justify the actions of Sri Ramachandra of killing Vali, Sugriva's brother? Now we know the story from Ramayana. They were very fast friends. Bali and Sugriv, they are two close brothers. And Bali was very powerful. He even drove away Ravana. So, and they were living together. Now, when there was one demon, Mayavi, came to the gates of the capital and challenged Bali to a fight. Bali accepted the challenge, but the demon fled in terror into a deep cave. Bali entered the cave in pursuit of the demon. He was accompanied by Sugriv. He told Sugriv to wait at the opening of the cave till he comes out. For a long time, many years passed, and Sugriva never came out. And then Sugriva heard some sound inside, and then blood was coming out from the gate of the cave. Since his brother never returned, Sugriva concluded this brother might have been killed by the demon. So he kept a big stone at the mouth of the cave so that the demon may not fly away. He came back. With a heavy heart. And he took away and he reigned. He took away as the king of the Vanar Raj. And afterwards, actually it was a wrong conception. The Bali was not dead. He came away, and when he went to the place and he saw the Sugriva is enthroned. So when Sugriva wanted to make a compromise and he narrated the incident, but Bali was very haughty. He wouldn't hear. So he drove him away and wanted to kill him. Then finally, Sugriva fled on the Rishamukh mountain. Now, Rishamukh mountain, Bali could not enter because he was cursed by the sage Matanga. Matanga was very much displeased with the arrogance of Bali, and he cursed him that he cannot, if you enter into this Rishamukh Parvat, you will be dead instantly. So he could not chase him up to that point, so he came back. So one is he did injustice to his brother. Number two, the great offense he made, he took away Sugriva's wife Ruma and had him as his second wife. He had a wife, Tara, but he took away his younger brother's wife, Ruma, and kept him as his wife, second wife. Now when one is his brother was drove away without any fault of his one, but the more grave that he took away his younger brother's wife. Now Rama told Bali when they met, Sugrivena cha ma sakhyam Lakshmanena jatha tatha Nararajya nimittam cha Nishya shakara same. This is the responsibility of God as a friend. My association with Sugriva is as good as that with Lakshmana. Lakshmana is his closest associate, traveling with him till the last point. But when God accepts the devotee as his friend, then we have to understand that what honor he places. Devotee के मर्यादा कहाँ तक पहुँच जाते हैं. Says that Sugriva is as good as Lakshmana because he is my friend. And Sugriva, so Lakshmana is younger brother. So Sugriva is like my younger brother Lakshmana, and Sugriva's wife is like my daughter. So it's my duty to free Ruma from you. So that's why he wanted to kill Bali. So Rama had all the rights to punish the one who had outraged the modesty of his daughter, who was Ruma, almost like his daughter. And Sugriva was his friend and he was like his master. So then Hanumanji, here also, they could not tackle each other. Now, So Hanumanji came in rescue and garlanded Sugriv so that Ram could kill Bali. So at every step, Guru is with the devotee till we realize God. Now there is a confusion that whether Sugriv was Rama's devotee or a friend, whether he was a Sakha or a Bhakat. Now we know that Bhakti evolves into Bhava. The Sakya Bhava is a relation. Bhava is a deeper approach with God. So when Rama came back to Ayodhya and was enthroned, there was a big function, and Sugriva was called along with others. Now, so Rama introduced Sugriva to Gurudev Vasishtha. Vasishtha was asking, who are these people? Then how was he introduced? Not as a devotee. In the Ramcharitmanas 7.4, Goswami ji says, Ye sab sakha sunahu muni mere, bhaye samar sagar kaha vere, mama hito lagi janma in hare, bharatahu te mahi adhik piyare. Please listen that these are my friends. They are dearer to me than Bharata, my own brother. And they are born to become friends with me. This is the matter. So Bhagavan has taken the Leela, taken a human body, assumes a human body, so that the devotees may interact with him in a friend relation and enjoy pure love. And when Ramachandra decided to depart from the world and took Samadhi in Sarju river, Sugriva, in the meantime, he continued the kingdom and he had Angada. When he came back, he kept Ruma and also Tara with him, and Tara had a son with Vali. His name was Angad. Angad was the prince to take over after Sugriv. And then Sugriv also retired and made Angad the king, and he also went away with Ramchandra. So this relation with God and the devotee is eternal, and Bhagavan comes down to the devotee to accept, to make us our friend, and it is on our part to open our arms and establish this friendship and enjoy divine relationship. We'll continue this Sakya Bhava of Ramachandra with other persons in our next interaction, which will be 2 weeks from now, because next Saturday is Diwali. So 15th, there won't be any gospel class. We'll meet again on 22nd of November. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Let us conclude with the chanting of the Lord. Please join with me. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om Ram Krishna, Hari Om. Namaskar.